Hey there. Um, a few comments for you all about your introductions and some other just general things about your first performances that I'd like to clear up and maybe give you some examples. One of them is about your introductions. Start performing with the introduction, okay? In other words, we don't want to hear, and this is a thing, Grimm Brothers wrote a lot of fairy tales, and Cinderella went to the ball. No. The introduction starts the performance, okay? The introduction is there to give us a name and a title, any information we need to know, and sometimes there's nothing, and preferably always something to get us interested, some sort of hook, or, like, look, this is going to be interesting, kind of thing to the intro. Now, intros are much longer and more elaborate in competition. That's not what we're focused on in this class. Give your audience what they need to know to get interested, and nothing about you. That's the other thing. The introduction is about the piece you're going to read for us. It's not about you. I don't care what your name is. I don't care what class you're in. I don't care what you think about it. It's not a book report, okay? Where you stand up and say, what this means to me. No one cares what it means to you, okay? What it means to the audience listening is what matters. So prep them to hear something that may mean something to them, okay? No outros either at the end. The end is just thank you if you have to say anything, okay? No telling us at the end exactly what you told us at the beginning, okay? Your intro and outro should take up about no outro. Your intro should take up about 10% of the whole performance. Here's some bad examples real quick of introductions. One of them is the fade in and fade out, where somebody says, and by the way, I'm not talking about if you might have to reach up to start your camera. That's just life with the technology, and you might be doing this on your own. But I want there to be a clear start, not a vague fade in. This is a vague fade in. Yeah, I'm doing the speech for intro class. I'm Stuart, and this is from Harry Potter by J.K. Rowling. And so here we go. We know you're doing a speech. It's an oral Interp class. We know that Harry Potter is something you can read. We understand the here we go part, because right after that you start. Don't tell us that you're going to tell us something. So for my poetry assignment, I picked a poem by Lazarus. Wow, good for you. For your poetry assignment, you picked a poem. Look at you reading instructions. No. Okay, just start. Here are some examples. One example style might be as follows. Harry Potter, the boy wizard, is heading back to school. As he stops at Flourish and Blotts, he has hopes of returning to the comfort and routine of Hogwarts. Little does Harry know that this year will be anything but routine. Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets by J.K. Rowling. An hour later, they headed for Flourish and Blotts. They were by no means the only ones making their way to the bookshop. As they approached it, blah, 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 okay? We understood when I went from introduction to actual reading. Or, for example, a different example, sometimes people like to do a teaser, then the introduction, then starting over. It goes sort of like this. The burial of the dead. April is the cruelest month, breeding lilacs out of the dead land, mixing memory and desire. 100 years ago, T.S. Eliot published The Wasteland and mixed memory and desire in a work that is considered one of the masterpieces of modern poetry. Following the devastation of World War I and the seeming impotence of England in the post-war period, Eliot incarnates the fear and anxiety and longing of the world into these powerful words. The Wasteland by T.S. Eliot. The burial of the dead. April is the cruelest month, breeding lilacs out of the dead land, mixing memory and desire. Or, depending on what you've got, it can be just as simple as green eggs and ham. by Dr. Seuss. I am Sam. Sam I am. And off we go. One thing you might have noticed, or hopefully did not notice, was I was sliding my papers. They're only printed on one side, sliding them from side to side. Because if they're stapled and I'm doing this while I'm turning from page to page, okay, exaggerated, but you notice how obnoxious that sounds? Especially in the basic microphones and cameras that we have. This white flashing around will give people epilepsy, okay? And the sound comes off like a freight train. Another couple comments, just think about your background and what you're presenting. How much of the screen is you and your expressions and your eyes? And how much of the screen is other stuff? Now, you don't, I mean, I have this blue screen back here. It doesn't have to be something like that. There can be like a nice pattern or one simple design. But if there's a whole lot of stuff back there, we're going to look at the stuff. If there's a ceiling fan going around your head the whole time, our brains are primed, okay? They are maximized for visual input to the frontal cortex. If we see something, that gets all of our attention, and what we hear comes later. Now, maybe you can't work, maybe the only place you can record, there's a ceiling fan. Fine, turn it off. Look at your video. Is there one of those locks, is you have a lock of hair hanging right here? All I'm gonna hear, or all I'm gonna pay attention to, is this lock of hair hanging down, not what you're saying. So don't give us crap to distract us in the background. This is all about you, and then you are all about the piece you're performing. Now, I've seen some really cool stuff so far. I'm looking forward, sincerely, to the rest of the things that you're going to present. Such a nice variety of things. So go ahead, get ready for the next assignment. Check the announcements, check your email. I don't know, eat a banana every day. And just keep on, all right? And shoot me any questions you have. Thanks.